The rules for Kill Team Nightmare have just been released, and as of yet, we have not secured a pre-order, but we're pretty excited about it, and we're going to talk about it.
Okay, so the rules dropped this morning. We're not part of the rules gang, unfortunately, but we've read the rules like everybody else has at this point, and we've got some takes, some hot takes, some cold takes, some bold takes, some old takes, some mold takes.
This is one take, but one thing I really love about this box right off the bat is both teams are a one-box kill team, like all the specialists included. A double one-boxer. This is great. This is as it should be, and we don't need to celebrate it ever again because this is how it'll always be moving forward. Nemesis Claw.
All right, Nemesis Claw. So they've got 6 operatives in play at a time. You know, they're the same as Legionary, 3-up saves, 12 HP gang.
Yep.
You got your leader. There's 4 kind of normal specialists. Then you've got your gunner options and your heavy gunner options, and then the warriors I don't think you'll ever take.
Yeah, probably
But
not.
they're there.
Yeah.
Okay, first off, we have their like team-wide unique ability.
Yep.
In Midnight Clad. I don't know how I feel about this. Okay, so like I think into some matchups this can really help you stay alive and help your melee operatives like get into charge range without dying or taking chip damage.
Yeah.
However, at this point in the game, there are so many teams that can ignore obscuring, and even if you have one model on your opponent's team that can shoot you even though you're obscured, you still have to like think about it, like, oh, that one sniper with a lot of mortal wounds could kill me, so is this even worth doing it?
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't think it's as good as it looks because there's so many teams that just like don't care.
And it also, like, it requires a conceal order still, right? So it's not like Domino Field.
Yeah.
You know, where you get to move up and still attack. Like, you're kind of moving up quietly anyway. But, like, it's good. It helps, but it's
certainly
not...
in some matchups it's going to be crazy, but I think a lot of matchups is going to be like, either you think it's as good as it always is, and then you lose a guy to a sniper, turning point 1, or you just, like, get scared and don't basically use it at all.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I have mixed feelings about this, but we'll see. Maybe it'll be great.
Yeah. It'll be strong. It's just not... not busted. I don't know.
Okay, operatives. The leader, pretty standard Chaos Space Marine leader.
Yep.
I will be building mine with the plasma pistol and the chain blade.
Yeah.
It's got the Nostraman chain blade, which is a great name, by the way, Nostraman.
I think it's Nostraman.
Oh. Nostraman? What is that? Like Nostradamus?
I think it's from... that's where they're from, isn't it? Like Nostrum...
Oh, I don't know the lore on these guys.
Nostromology or
I'm going to call it the Nostraman chain blade. I don't care. Get at me. Especially if it's a made-up... If that's a real word, I'll be slightly embarrassed. If that's a made-up Games Workshop word, then I'm definitely calling it Nostraman.
I'm 69% sure that that's like in relation to the planet that they
okay,
come
then
from.
it's Nostraman to me. So, yeah, it's basically just a chain sword with rending.
Yeah.
Like...
And it's the coolest model. Like, it's the coolest weapon. That's the, like, chainsword with the rib cage on it,
I think some people might, like, want multiple options for this. Maybe magnetize. I'm not.
Yeah.
I think plasma pistol and the chain blade, that's fine with me.
Yeah.
Okay, beyond that, he's got some pretty interesting abilities. So he's called the Visionary. He can see the future, I guess, is his, like, flavor. In every strategy phase, when you're playing poison stuff, you can roll a d3 and add that many tokens to your prescience pool. And then you can spend them on stuff. So one way you can spend them, basically you can like waste an activation without actually passing someone. So it helps you with teams that are gonna like super out activate
really
you.
good.
Another way you can use it is basically like just a scratch. You can discard a token to discard one of your opponent's attack dice when they're fighting or shooting you. So that seems very good. Especially
because you're generating D3. So like chances are you're gonna have a few of these and you can just like make an attack go away.
The other way you can use it is Premonition. So this one costs an AP to use, but you basically like trade one for a CP.
That's good.
Which is probably good.
Yeah.
And this team has a lot of good looking ploys.
Yeah.
So I think you're probably going to be using this every time you can. At least like turning point 1 for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe turning point 2 and 3. All right. That's the Visionary. Cool. I like this.
Yeah. Looks cool.
It's like a mini resource token kind of thing.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we got the Fearmonger, the poison guy. I don't know if this guy is super good, but maybe he is. I don't know. But he's definitely flavorful. Okay, so his whole thing is he has these terror chem tokens. Did I say pokins? I'm tired, okay? Don't at me. Look, I got like no sleep last night and I've been sick. Don't get in the comments. If you comment on how crappy I look, I will ban you. So the Tear Chem token, if someone has this, if you give it to an opponent and they have one of these tokens, in the ready friendly operative step, basically they're going to take D3 damage. And it stays the whole game. So if you get this on someone in turning point 1 or 2, they could take potentially like 9 to 12 damage.
Yeah.
No, they could take potentially 6 to 9 damage. I think it's pretty unlikely, but I still think there's some niche cases where this could finish off someone that you've gotten pretty low. Or interestingly, so he has this on his melee weapon, which is okay, but he also has this on his like he has a grenade basically.
Yeah.
5 attacks on 3-ups, 2 0 damage, but 3 mortal wounds, and then it has all the regular grenade stuff. Blast 2. And then it gives a Tear Chem token on a crit. Also, one other way he can use the Tear Chem tokens is he can infect an objective. So let's say we're on loot or secure. Okay, I'm gonna go do a mission action here, and then I'll infect the objective and then leave. And then someone else is gonna steal this. Well, they're gonna have a penalty for coming over here.
Yeah, that's good. Gunner,
okay, gunner, standard gunner.
Yeah.
We don't need to go into that.
Make the plasma.
Same heavy gunner.
Yeah.
Same BS. Okay, Screecher here. I really like this guy a lot.
This is so flavorful.
I think this might be. I don't want to say it's their best operative, but I think it could be.
Yeah.
Okay, so Lightning Claws. 5 attacks on 3s, 4/5. This is a melee weapon with lethal
great.
5-up and relentless. So basically, it's like an assault intercessor weapon with lethal 5-up and relentless built in.
Yeah, super solid.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Okay, and then he has 2 abilities. So Screecher. So while he's within 3 of any enemy, their ballistic skill and weapon skill are nerfed by 1. It doesn't stack with being injured, but that's still very good.
That's great.
Like we saw recently when your Butcher was able to nerf my Sniper when we did Legionary versus Scouts. Yeah, and then the second ability, which I really like here, Appetite for Cruelty. If the guy he's fighting has below their starting health when he starts fighting them, instead of lethal 5-up, it's lethal 4-up. And they have a ploy that when you charge, you can deal mortal wounds.
Right.
So if you play that ploy, you're guaranteed to have lethal 4-up. In some situations, that won't matter because you're just going to like Shrek them anyway.
Yeah.
But there could be some instances where getting more crits is just like insane. Or if you really, really like, let's say, even Marines, okay, so say you're fighting an assault intercessor, they have 12 wounds, but let's say you charge and you deal 2 mortal wounds.
Yeah.
But from the charge, then they have 10 health, and then the same thing. You can 2-shot them if you get 2 crits.
And another thing too is like beyond just the increased damage, crits have so much usefulness in melee against weapons with brutal, against parrying, crits in general. Like it's of course, rolling crits is good. That's some deep insight from Mountainside Tabletop. More crits,
Crit
better.
good.
Yeah.
One's bad. Okay, next up, we got the Skin Thief.
Greatest name.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
He has another Nostraman chain glaive here. So this one's a bit different. The other one was a chain glaive. No, the other one was a
chain sword. Yeah.
So this one, 5 attacks on 3s, 4/6 damage with Reap 1 and Rending. So very reminiscent of the...
This is the Butcher.
Very reminiscent of the Butcher. But some interesting abilities too. Okay, so Flay Them Alive. You can pick an enemy within 6 inches of either you or the guy you killed with a fight. Has to be with a fight. And they can't do mission actions with a pickup action or anything.
It's situational, but it can be extremely effective.
Yeah, I think there are situations where you kill a guy that's near an objective, and then also like if there's a guy already on the objective, and you get this, then you have to waste another guy's turn to come and loot this.
Right.
That's pretty good.
That is great.
And 6 inches is not too bad. Like if it was 3 inches. Like if it was a 3-inch range, it would be a lot harder to pull off. But I think like 6 inches for this is pretty generous, and I think I think you can maybe get this off a pretty consistent amount.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, and then Tyrant of the Skinning Pits. I can't speak today. Okay, you're gonna have to deal with it. Tyrant of the Skinning Pits. Basically, whenever you fight, your enemy has -1 damage for crits and hits.
And we know how goddamn annoying that is to play
so
against.
good.
Yeah, it's really good.
The Ventriloquar.
Yeah.
So he has a chainsword and a bolt pistol. It's like, whatever warrior level weapons. But he's an icon bearer, so he has that extra APL when holding objectives. So that's always,
4 APL?
good in some situations if you're trying to, steal a point, or, if you're on capture and you want to make sure you can control it. But his main thing is disconcerting mimicry here. So it's a psychic action, which I guess is a bit of a negative.
Yeah.
Because some teams can mess with your psychic actions. But basically, you choose an enemy within 6 inches, and you can either subtract 1 from its APL make them do a dash to wherever you want, or you can change his order. So I think subtract 1 from his APL is kind of bad because you have to spend an APL to do this.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Trade.
that's pretty niche, I think, when that would be useful. But I think changing its order can be good, and the dash is very good. Like, I think this guy is going to be your front line because he has that extra APL.
Yeah.
So you're going to want him to, like, help you contest points. He's tanky enough to survive some shots. And then, you know, like, if you have an enemy that's, like, your sniper or something that's hiding behind cover and getting shots off, make them dash out into the open.
Yeah.
And then he just gets fried.
And one interesting interaction with this is because, like, he'll count as having 4 APL on an objective. If you have two APL opponents, you can subtract 1 of their APL, and then, like, your 4 beats their 3 because they'll have 2 + 1.
That's true.
Yeah, that's a nice
does,
interaction.
Yeah, it does have some use, I guess, there. I like this guy. I mean, I think mostly you're going to be using him for the dash. Like,
the dash is great.
Forcing your opponent to dash. I think that's the main draw of him, but I think that's a pretty good draw.
Totally. It's great.
Okay, ploys. They have a spicy-ass ploy here. Vox Scream.
Yeah.
I think this is going to make people so mad.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Because, okay, it's 1 plus CP at least, but basically, when your opponent tries to activate someone, you can play this ploy and be like, activate someone else. So, like, basically, this is initiative insurance, in my opinion.
Yeah. It's funny how this is going to interact with the other teams that have activation manipulation. Like,
Yeah, it just cancels it
this
out.
against Omni Scramble is going to be really hilarious. Like, okay, no one move. Everybody freeze in this corner. But yeah, I think it's good. I think it's like kind of going to be one of those like signature ploys
Yeah.
that when you're playing against them, you expect it on every turn and you have to like bait it out early and just try to anticipate when your opponent's going to play it.
One other interesting one is Out of the Darkness. Basically, it lets you make a 4-inch move with fly in the scouting step.
That's good.
At the end of the scouting step, but it has to be someone within your drop zone, so you can't do like recon dash and then this. This is good no matter what, but also this is kind of like what I was saying with the poison guy. If you're trying to set up an alpha strike to like poison everyone in turning point 1, this is gonna help you do that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good play, but it's definitely a play. We'll have to see if it's good, but against horde teams, it might be cracked. So you might like wound them all, and then in 2 turns they're dead, and you don't even have to worry about them.
And it's actually going to be a great alpha strike because you can use this instead of your dash, and then you still have the order flip, so you can be concealed.
Yeah.
You don't need initiative for it, right? Because you'll be able to do this, and then you've still got 9 more inches of movement. Flip your order.
And within Midnight Clad, even if you're kind of out in the open, against some teams you can stay safe. Also, they have the classic ploy that lets you fight twice and shoot twice, but notably, it's big. It's like 1 ploy here.
Oh, really?
It's not 2 separate ploys.
Great.
So if you play this for 1 CP, your
both.
fighting guys can fight and your shooting guys can shoot. Like, it's very flexible, so I do like that. There's one more ploy I want to point out. We've never seen anything like this in Kill Team before. I don't know how much I love this, but I think it's very flavorful. So I actually kind of do love it.
Yeah.
Death of the False Emperor. Am I losing my voice live?
Yeah, you are.
Live on camera. It gives you re-rolls against teams with the Imperium keyword.
Yeah.
And then if you're facing Space Marines, Adeptus Astartes, it gives you even better re-rolls.
Yeah, I love it.
Very interesting.
It feels like a narrative rule. I'm surprised that it's in matched play, but I love it. I love this sort of thing.
Yeah, very spicy.
More flavor is better.
Dude, you're going to shred Intercessors with this team.
Totally.
Like, nasty. Equipment, they have some interesting choices. Flayed Skin for 2 EP, shuts down rerolls within 3 inches. Like, this is very good.
Yeah. This is a good option to just, like, give to everyone but your heavy gunner, you know, and to, like, not have to think about it and just do, like, a team-wide option.
I think maybe their weakest aspect is their tac ops.
Yeah.
I don't really like any of them. Overall, what do you think?
I think they're great. I think they're super flavorful.
Yep.
They seem like they're going to be really powerful. They have a
Yep.
ton of tricks, and they look like a super forgiving kill team, which I think is nice. Even though we're at the end of the edition, a lot of people are still just getting into the game, and I think they're going to be a great introduction to the game for a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know, they stay safe. They do a ton of damage. You know, what more can you ask for, really?
Yeah, and they're 1 box.
They're
We love
one
that.
box. We love it so much.
Yeah. All right. Mandrakes.
Elf time. So we've also got the rules for the Mandrakes kill team, and I gotta say I'm pretty excited to play them. They look like a lot of fun. They, similarly to the Night Lords, are like super flavorful. They have a ton of fun tricks. They do look much more complicated to pilot.
I think they're also like they're one of those teams that look complicated to pilot, also in a way that's so different than everything else.
Totally, yeah.
So I think it's going to be a long time before people really like figure out the optimal way to play these guys.
Definitely. So the makeup of this kill team is pretty straightforward. You get a leader and then 4 specialists, your Abyssal, Chooser of the Flesh, Dirgemaw, and Shadow Weaver, all of whom look identical. And then 4 more normal warriors, also totally identical. So there's like this is going to be such a confusing team to play against.
Yeah.
For people who are unfamiliar with the team, because everyone is like death metal Iggy Pop wearing a skin skirt with a sword and flame. So whatever, it's sweet. They look great, but they all are identical, which is extremely annoying. So their main kind of gimmick is this within shadow mechanic. So yeah, the rules are on screen right now. It's actually like it seems like it's going to be pretty easy to be within shadow. So the main kind of passive bonus there is that you get a 4-up invuln save instead of their standard 5-up invuln save, which is great. We love that. AP weapons are annoying. Then they have their main mechanic, which is the ability to transport all over the kill zone. So for 1 operative every turn, if you're within shadow, you can do a normal move and basically just zip anywhere you want on the kill zone as long as you fulfill a couple requirements. So yeah, this is like obviously extremely handy. This is going to be a great mechanic. I can't imagine how good this is going to be into the dark.
Busted.
Yeah, I mean, it is just 1 guy without using the Shadow Weaver's portal, but...
And you can't attack the same turn that you go through.
Well, you can... yeah, that's right. You can't shoot, technically. I don't know if there's ways that you could do it, but you can't move and then charge, so I guess...
Yeah.
So it's not going to be like a big, obviously, teleport and then kill somebody, but scoring points, scoring objectives, getting past things like hold the line and scoring...
Especially at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Dude, like... Imagine you're down to like your last few operatives and it's just about point scoring and you just like teleport onto an objective and it's like, okay, I'm gonna loot it.
Yeah, exactly. I've recently seen how powerful that is with the Grodd.
Yeah.
Destroying my Custodes single-handedly. So yeah, that's gonna be great. I'm really looking forward to seeing how that works. You know, situational, I don't think it's gonna be as great on wide open boards, but still gonna be pretty powerful.
Yeah.
So they've all got this soul
fire, something soul.
So yeah, the soul fire, soul strike thing. So yeah, you roll 3 defense dice, but you're looking for
or 2 if you have 2 defense dice.
Right. Yeah, you roll your normal defense characteristic, but you're looking for your APL or lower. So most things in the game you're saving on 2s or 1s, and elites are saving on 3 minus.
Yeah.
1s are crits. So that'll be great for us because we roll a lot of 1s, but otherwise, yeah, I think it's just interesting. I mean, I don't really know how the math works.
Basically, if you're a 3 APL team, you have a 4-up save, and if you're a 2 APL team, you have a 5-up save.
Yeah.
So, like, Intercessors hurts. Hyrotech Circle and Hearthkin Warriors, that hurts.
Yeah.
You know? Like, going from a 3-up save for Hearthkin to a 5-up save,
Yeah.
yikes.
Yeah, it's good. And I think, as far as I can tell, all of their ranged weapons have this.
These guys are gonna Shrek the dwarves.
Yeah.
They like hard counter Hearthkin.
So for the operatives, you know, pretty standard elf frame here, except for their 2 APL. So yeah, normal movement, 2 APL, 8 wounds. Technically they have a 6-up save, but they do have an invuln. But there are some things that interact specifically with your save characteristic, and so that's always a bit of a liability, but it's like Void Dancers, so like it's not too bad. So yeah, the leader has the Oubliex thing, which is like kind of an occasional feel no pain that you get to roll. You know, could be once or maybe a couple times per turning point, depending on some factors. Harrowing Whispers, which is some more activation manipulation, which is a good theme throughout this box. So I think there could be some funny situations where you would like Vox Scream him, or he Harrowing Whispers someone and then gets Vox Screamed and just like no one can activate. Yeah, it looks good. He's like a great powerful operative that's going to kill a lot of stuff. So, you know, I like a leader that you don't really feel like you have to protect. He's got some good ways to stay alive and do a lot of damage. So yeah, the Abyssal has an unlimited, pretty good ranged blast attack, doing this soul strike damage. So that's gonna be good. And then they have an ability to hand out these Balefire tokens, which can either, like, you can hand them to friendly operatives to give them damage reduction all the way down to a minimum of 1. And so I think that's the only thing in the game now that does that, right? Because they changed that to things can't go past 2. So like great damage reduction or damage buff.
Yeah.
Depending on if you give it to friendly or enemy. And next is the Flesh Chooser, as I'm calling them. The Chooser of the Flesh is just so stupid. And they're kind of your main melee threat, the guy with the big sword. These Soul Harvest tokens are awesome. So this is basically how the team has access to 3 APL or have the ability to regain D6 wounds, which is a great heal, unless you roll a 1.
Like these guys, when you look at them initially, you're like, okay, you have 8 wounds and you have basically a 5-up save or a 4-up save. Let's say best case scenario, 8 wounds, 4-up save, like pretty easy to kill.
Yeah.
But they have a lot of tools to just keep them in the game a little longer.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
And so yeah, this Flesh Chooser can do a lot of damage in melee. Interestingly, is also like a big support piece for the rest of the team. So that's like kind of an example of why this team I think is going to be pretty hard to pilot, because you're going to need him to get kills, but you're also going to need him to stay alive. To keep harvesting these soul tokens.
Yeah.
You know, he's got tools to do it, so it should be okay. Then you've got the Dirge Maw, which has like a great indirect attack. It's like 5 attacks, hitting on 2s. It's got some mortal wounds, 6-inch range, hitting on 2s with mortal wounds. It's awesome. It's gonna be a really good attack, and it's got this like soul fire thing. Haunting Focus, which is again some activation manipulation that's gonna be very handy. And then the Periological Projection, which just makes an enemy treated as injured for their movement and ballistic skill, etc. And they can't have their APL buffed. Like, so that's gonna work really well, because often, you know, your opponent will like buff something with their Kasserkin comms or something like that, and then you can just say like, no, he's actually not buffed, you wasted that. So I think that's going to be pretty powerful. And then like the coolest looking one and a very interesting operative is this Shade Weaver. So because the Shadow Passage you can only do once per turn, this is kind of a way around that. So if you use this operative to do it, basically you create a portal where you start and end, and then any unlimited amount of friendly operatives can follow that same path. So it's going to be great turn 1, I think, to kind of...
Could you turn 1 potentially get your entire team in your opponent's deployment zone?
Yeah, but you can't attack, so I don't know why you would, but you could if you wanted to.
Why wouldn't you want to do that?
I don't know.
Are you playing this game to win, or are you playing to have fun? Come on.
You could move the entire team one by one into your opponent's deployment zone if you wanted.
Defenseless.
Yeah. But anyway, I think this is a great way to kind of get around the limit of 1 per turn, and it's going to be a lot of fun, you know, with using a move and a dash and a 2-inch range of this shadow portal. You've kind of got like a 5-inch or a 10-inch radius space where you can get to. I think it's going to be kind of powerful and is a great model that I'm looking forward to painting. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And then the Warriors, pretty standard. They're great.
They all have shooting.
They all have
range shooting.
Yeah, they all have shooting that does that, you know, hits on the soul strike, which is great. Does good damage, good in melee, 8 wounds, 4-up invuln maybe. That's pretty strong. You know, the ploys, there's not anything that like really blows my mind. Creeping Horror gives you a free dash after your enemy activates, so that will be fun, but it's going to be a pain in the ass to film and animate, so I don't know if I want to do it. You know, there's an auto retain on saves from shooting attacks and that sort of thing, but Blade in the Dark I really like as a strategic ploy. Everyone on your team can charge from Conceal as long as they start and end within Shadow, but I think it's going to be easy to be within Shadow a lot of the time. Like, you just have to be within an inch of heavy terrain, you know? So I think it'll be easy to fulfill that if you want to. And yeah, like, kill people and then stay safe sounds great. Same with tactical ploys, like nothing that is like totally game breaking to me. Shadow's Bite seems great. You know, you get charged by someone and then you can pop this ploy and then all of a sudden you're the attacker, and you're like a pretty capable attacker at that, and so could have a lot of enemies killing themselves on their own activation, which is always nice. And then yeah, the equipment, nothing really blows your mind. I mean, it's all pretty kind of bog standard stuff. There's nothing that seems, it's not like the Blades of Cain equipment where it's like you must take this because it's so powerful. Like, it's good, but it's not, you know, not really noteworthy. And then as far as faction tac ops go, the big standout to me is Death from Darkness. I really like a faction tac op that rewards you for doing what you need to be doing with the team anyway. And so this one, if you're getting kills in combat within Shadow, you score this. And if you're getting kills in combat within Shadow, you're winning the game anyway, or doing, at least giving yourself the best chance. And so this seems like a great way to just be rewarded for playing the team effectively anyway, and I always like that. But, you know, overall, I think they're going to be a really, really fun team. I'm happy to see more elf bespoke teams, and, you know, the models look great. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. Overall, okay, this is a spicy thing to say, but hear me out. They remind me a lot of Gellerpox.
Interesting.
And the reason I say that is because I think they're going to be a team that your opponent is going to lose hard against unless they know how to play into that specific team.
Right.
If you just are used to playing against, like, oh, I play against Kazarkin and Intercession Squad and, like, I don't know, something basic.
All of a sudden.
You're going to be playing against these guys and you're going to be so caught off guard by so many things.
Yeah.
It's going to wreck your brain.
You know, not least of which is that they all look alike. And honestly, like, there's like a lot of like memes and jokes going around the internet about that. But I do think that that's like a pretty big issue with this team in terms of like playability and opponent playability. Like, if I wasn't the one building these guys, I very confidently would have no idea who is who except for the one guy with a slightly bigger sword.
Yeah.
And that's a bit frustrating. And I think if I had to guess why that is, I think it's probably to make them fit into 40K a bit easier. Whatever.
Yeah.
That's my only criticism, really. It's a one-box team, and it comes with another one-box team.
They have a lot of cool rules.
Yeah, they look like fun. Models look great.
Yeah.
I think overall, Kill Team Nightmare is really exciting. It's the morning of pre-order day, and we don't have one secured yet. Another one of our local game stores is going to go on sale in a couple hours, and so fingers crossed we'll be able to get it because it's going to really suck to not. The terrain looks good. Can't wait to use the terrain. Big piece.
Yeah. I'm not painting my Night Lords blue, and I don't care.
Yeah, nice.
All right. I think that's it.
Yeah. Thanks for sticking around.
Thanks for the patrons, especially the 1 HP gangsters and mountain goats. We spent some of our Patreon cash lately to upgrade our setup. We got some lights behind us now, so we're not sitting in front of the black void.
Yep.
And we got battle reports coming soon that are going to use that in the battle report, and they look primo.
Yep.
Thanks, patrons. Thanks for watching. Like and sub.
Fingers crossed, in a couple weeks we'll have a Nightmare battle report.
Yeah.
To do.
All right.
See ya.
See ya.